Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning, 16th of December. We are coming closer to the Christmas season. Joy to each one of you for Christmas season and for every day. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also for a closed group via Skype. Each one of you is welcomed. To be blissful needs courage. We think that to be happy is one of the simplest things. Yes, in a way it is simple, but it requires tremendous courage on your part. Tremendous courage on your part to be blissful. The entire existence, including you, is made out of the stuff called bliss. Everything is made out of the stuff called bliss, but it requires great courage. To be miserable, nothing is needed. And we take pride in saying that this one gets me upset. I was very frustrated. Phrases like these are considered to be important part of day-to-day conversation. If you do not use these phrases, something is wrong. We take tremendous pleasure in saying I was really upset, and then when somebody says I was upset, watch the whole feng shui that is created around it. I was really upset, with different modulations. This one makes me upset. That one frustrates me. As if these are the things to be cherished. And you forget that you are made out of the stuff called bliss, anand. That is why bliss requires great courage. Tremendous courage to be blissful. That is the reason that there are so many miserable people around. It costs nothing to be miserable, and there is no risk in it at all. It is very convenient to be miserable. In fact, man feels comfortable to be miserable. He feels secure to be miserable. Because the moment you say that I was very miserable or upset, you begin to gain some sympathies from the people. But to be blissful is dangerous and risky. It is dangerous because bliss means you are entering into a territory, a zone which is unknown. It is like taking your small boat into an uncharted voyage. You are taking your small boat into high seas. One knows nothing of the other shore. It may be, it may not be. Many possibilities exist. Even if it is, one has no map. One cannot be certain that one will ever be able to reach to the other shore. The boat is small. Our energies are small. Our energies are limited. The ocean that we have to cross to reach is vast. Many possibilities exist. This is the risk. So it takes tremendous courage to enter into an unknown area. Whenever a situation comes, we always choose that which is known to us. If simple thing, we are in a place where the food is served, many dishes are there, you have a look at them, and if you have a friend with you, there are many dishes that you have never known by name or never looked at them, and you have no criteria by looking at the dish what it may taste like, a slightest idea. You choose the one that you have known. Very rarely people take courage to try out new things. And when it comes at your own cost, it becomes even more difficult. Your own cost, trying to do something new dish, and how expensive that may be. So nobody wants to go into. It really requires tremendous courage to get into the new, get into the boat one day and just begin to sail. That much courage is needed. You get into your boat. I have taken a decision that I am taking my small boat into high seas, not looking back or looking at the securities on this shore. Many times you will see the insurance agents comes, they give you all sorts of explanations, encouragements, incentives to take the insurance. And along with that, they use a phrase, praise the Lord, trust the Lord. If you have to trust the Lord, then why do you need securities? If you have to trust the Lord, then where does the question of security comes in? The courage that is needed is tremendous. And the courage requires that you have decided that you are going to get into the boat one day and just sail. Where am I going to? This is the story that I have mentioned to you many times. The story of Mawjood. Mawjood means one who is available, present to this very moment. Available to this very moment, present. He started working as an officer, and if he had continued, he would have retired in a high position. He meets Khizr alayhi salam and he tells him many things. First he appears here, then he appears at the foot of his bed, so on and so forth, in different positions, sometimes shimmering in green, and tells him to throw yourself into the stream. Maybe someone may save you. In fact, bliss comes to those who are ready to risk all that they have. And that is what initiation, that is what a spiritual inward journey requires. You are leaving the familiar and entering into an uncharted shore where you do not know what awaits thee. When there is courage, with the courage comes trust. Trust is a function of courage. The moment you have courage, trust flows in. The You are not looking at all at the securities of this shore. You are ready to venture into the unknown and unknowable realm. The shore is familiar, although there is misery. We have become familiar with it. We have lived together for so long. It is almost difficult to say goodbye to it. We are married to misery. Each one of us is married to misery. It needs great courage to one day decide that you are going to divorce misery. Divorce misery, yes, I mean so. Divorce misery because it is divorcing the known. You are going to divorce the known. Misery is known to you, the familiar, the accustomed, the conventional. It is divorcing that which nobody else is divorcing. The whole crowd is living into it. One has to learn to be alone. For miles and miles and miles there is no one. One has to learn how to be alone. Hence, bliss needs tremendous courage. The courage to die to the past and to be reborn. Bliss comes when you are ready to die to the past. Past is no more. But whenever a situation comes in, we live in the dead past, which is no more. An entire life revolves around the past, which is no more. You look at the pattern of your life, right from dressing to eating habits, and all other things are guided by the past, which is no more. Then how can there be bliss? Bliss requires tremendous courage. And what is needed for bliss? Meditation is a great leap into the unknown and unknowable realm. Meditation is that small boat that one day you decided that you are going into it all alone. The boat is very small, so small that there is no room for another. The riders are small. You have to continuously canoe it to reach, and the shore, the ocean is vast. Winds are blowing. The waves suddenly arise. That time your courage is the only thing that requires tremendous courage. You are entering into an unknown, uncharted region. Gather yourself together for a great journey. Yes, indeed, it's a great journey at the end when you reach to the other shore. And when you look back, you realize that, oh, what an achievement. What you have gained. Just remaining on the shore, you could have not attained to that bliss. By standing on the shore, you cannot find the depths. Depth comes in when you begin to sail into the uncharted oceans. And those who have found the bliss, they have discovered it. They have dived through the vicissitudes of life to reach. I was just this morning reading a quote from one of the businessmen, Ratan Tata. He said in life, the problems and difficulties, they are like upheavals. They teach us many things. They teach us many things. Even when you look at the ECG, it is never a straight line. When ECG becomes a straight line, you know what does it mean? It must be a curve. Trough and peaks continuously. A certain amount of trough, a certain amount of peak is required for the heart to be healthy. The moment your ECG shows a straight line, that means that's it. So these upheavals, when they come in life, they are like the ECG graph of life. They help you to remain alive. Without these, life will be meaningless. The treasures you discover when you leave the shore. But if you decide theoretically, how can I cross over the river or the ocean to reach to the other shore? Can I do it by chanting our mantras? Can I do it by this way or that way? It happened Buddha was sitting once on the bank of the river. A man, a learned, a scholar, had heard about Buddha. Seeing Buddha sitting on the bank of the river, he came. And he bowed down to Buddha and inquired, asked a few questions. He asked Buddha that you say that there is no need of scriptures and all that, and the scriptures are done by sages. Why is it so? Buddha asked him a question. He said, Mahakashyap, that time he addressed him by that name which he wore at that time. Mahakashyap was the name that was given to him by Buddha. This is the river. You have to cross this river in order to reach to the other shore. You want to go to the other shore. You want to go to the other shore, and between these two shores there is a riverbed where water is flowing continuously. How can you reach to the other shore? Mahakashyap said, that's very simple. If you see the river is shallow, you can walk through. If it is deep, you can swim through to reach to the other shore. It will take a little longer, but certainly you will reach to the other shore. And Buddha inquired, is there any other possibility? Yes, replied the learned. If there is a boat and you do not know swimming, you are not aware of the depth of the river, you do not know its gradient, then you can request the boatman to take you across to the other side. That is right, replied Buddha. But if someone decides none of these methods to be used, none of the methods to be used. He doesn't want to watch the river, and if it is shallow, to walk through the river. Doesn't know swimming, and the boatman is inviting him to come. He says, I have no money to pay you. He says, okay, I will take you to the other shore. And when you reach, there is tremendous opportunity for you to walk. And when you walk, I keep on rowing my boat between these two shores. And sometimes later we will meet again and you can pay me. He is not interested in that either. Instead, he wants to take his scriptures, his psalms, his Quranic verses, and chant these and think, or maybe any mantra, and expects to reach to the other shore. Can it be possible? The learned said, that is not possible. And that learned, that very moment, instantaneously bow down at the feet of Buddha, and he became his monk, came to be known as Mahakashyap. When such a learned one comes in the company of an awakened one and surrenders, there is a tremendous beauty in it. And that very surrender, the combination of the surrender and the knowledge that he has gathered, that gets evaporated, becomes the part of the entire cosmos. It spreads into the entire cosmos. And there was born Mahakashyap, one of the most beautiful monks of Gautam, the Buddha. And it is through Mahakashyap the Zen Buddhism emerged. Buddha said, one morning he came out in a strange way with a flower in his hand. Buddha did not say anything. Instead, he remained standing with the flower in his hand, and he moved from side to side so that everyone could get a frontal view of Buddha with a flower in his hand. Every monk was filled with thoughts. Is Buddha going to give a sermon on flower? Is he going to say something, a flower sermon or something? Many kind of thoughts. Now you imagine you are standing in front of Buddha with a flower in his hand, and you are part of his congregation. What kind of thoughts will appear to you? You can imagine. Maybe you can write it out yourself. Looking at the different possibilities, that the kind of thoughts may arise when you see Buddha is standing with a flower in his hand and saying nothing. He's just moving from side to side, so that every monk can have a frontal view of Buddha with the flower in his hand. Mahakashyap was the only one who was empty within. When the two eyes met one another, they drowned into one another. Two eyes Buddha's eyes merge. Knocked at the eyes at the doorstep of Mahakashyap. The two eyes merge into one another. Mahakashyap gave a tacit smile. What did this smile that Mahakashyap gave? Is meaningful. I was unblossomed. I was unblossomed, a bud. In the light of your being, in the light of your awakening, the bud has blossomed into a flower. The bud has blossomed into a flower, spreading its beauty and fragrance. Thank you for that. Mahakashyap was filled with gratitude, seeing the flower. I was a bud. In your presence, in the light of your being, which is more than the 1,000 suns, the bud has blossomed. Its beauty and fragrance is shining in its splendor. Gave a tacit smile. Buddha handed over that flower to Mahakashyap. And he said, all that could be spoken, I spoke for 45 years. Yet still truth cannot be spoken. And that which cannot be spoken, I had given it to Mahakashyap now. Lao Tse in Tao Te Ching says the truth cannot be expressed in the words. The moment it is given a form, it becomes false. All those who have experienced awakening, experienced truth, have tried to express the same sentiment in different words, different languages, be it Nanak, be it Kabir, be it Lao Tse, be it sages, or anyone else. Truth cannot be put into the words. You cannot encompass the infinite. Whatsoever you try to do, it's the framed image of the vastness of that sky that we can call as truth. When you have reached to a new city and you want to have a look at, you reach there in the night, you want to look at what the outside may look like. It's a cold wintry night, you cannot go out, so you remove the curtain and through the window you look at outside. What you get, the framed image of the outside, as compared to when in the morning with the sun rising and you come out of the room and you are under the vastness of the sky and you get the whole glimpse of it, not the framed image. When these sages, when Lao Tse says truth cannot be, Tao cannot be expressed into the words. The moment you try to put into the words, it becomes false. This is the framed image. Meditation is the great leap into the unknown. Gather yourself together for a great journey. Yes, there is a risk, but that risk of being alone, yes, with risk alone, you can discover the treasures of life. Treasures of life are discovered when you are ready to take the risk. There is insecurity, but insecurity is adventurous. Yes, there is danger, but with danger, millions of thrills arises. With danger, millions of thrills arises. And you are always in a surprise because you are moving into an unknown territory. Danger and risks are there too. But there will never be a boredom. The path to heaven is full of deep aloneness. The path to the heaven is alone, is a thoroughfare. Remember it always. Entering into the path is a momentous phenomenon. Buddha used to say that to enter into the river, that is going to the ocean, use the word shrotpan, is risky and dangerous. Shrotpan was his word to enter into the river. This is one of the monks as they traverse along the inward journey. Shrotpan is the beginning. You have entered into the river. Shrot means source. You are entering into the source to continue your journey. Shrotpan was his word to enter into the river, but those who dare are blissful ones. Once you enter the river, sooner or later you will reach the ocean. This is entering the river. Bliss is not something that you can think or philosophize about it. There is no way to speculate about it either. And whatsoever you think about it is definitely going to be wrong. It is as existential as anything else. It is an existential experience. Existential experience. It is just as a blind man cannot think anything about light. Unless his eyes are cured, he will never know what light is. He can go on guessing. He can go on inferring, listening to great dialogues on light, reading books, listening to the audio books on light, talking to people about light, accumulating great information and knowledge about light, but still he will not have the glimpse of light or what light is. The only way to know light is to open your eyes and see it yourself. The moment you open your eyes, all philosophy, all questions, all scriptures, all that is known just slips out of your hand. I am speaking to you. There is no scripture involved. Simply practical. Just open your eyes. Buddha said, I cannot show you light, but certainly I can give you the eyes to see for yourself. I can only give you eyes, but the rest you have to do on your own. You have to do on your own. That exactly and precisely is the case with bliss. That exactly and precisely is the case with bliss. One has to experience it. One has to prepare oneself for this great experience and be courageous to go into it. Dive into it. It is unfathomable. And when you dive into it, you are resurrected. Meditation simply prepares the ground. It helps you to open your eyes, and it is medicinal. And once your eyes are cured, you know what it is. Time and time again, Buddha was inquired, what is bliss? Time and time again, Buddha was inquired what bliss is. And he would always see, just be with me and be silent for a few moments, few months, a few years. And whenever you are right, you are ripe and mature enough to know it, I'll tell you what is bliss. What a beautiful response, reply. Time and time again, people inquired from Buddha what is bliss. Each time when the question was asked, Buddha said, just be with me. Being around the awakened one is a benediction. A few moments spent in thy company. एक लम्हा जो गुजरा है तेरे साथ, छा जाए जिंदगी में मेरी बन के नूर तेरा. जिंदगी हो पैगाम मोहब्बत, दुआ है यही रब से लम्हा लम्हा. एक लम्हा मीन्स अ प्रिसाइज माइन्यूट मोमेंट. एक लम्हा जो गुजरा है तेरे साथ, a moment that is spent in thy company. A moment that is spent in thy company, may it spread in my life like the light. एक लम्हा जो गुजरा है तेरे साथ, छा जाए जिंदगी में मेरी, छा जाए जिंदगी में मेरी, बन के नूर तेरा, बन के नूर तेरा. नूर means light. छा जाए means spread. When the house is being built, there is no canopy, there is no roof over it. We thatch it, we create the roof. So this noor, this light, may it spread in my life like thy light. जिंदगी हो पैगामे मोहब्बत, दुआ है यही रब से. And my life be a message of love. Zindagi ho. Paigam e mohabbat. Paigam means message. Mohabbat means love. And life be the message of love. Dua hai, this is my solemn prayer. And when this happens, what actually happens? When the noor, that light is spread into the life, the flower has blossomed, its beauty and fragrance is spreading. फूलों को है रंजिश, महकाते हैं आशियाने को जब. The very nature of the flowers is to spread its beauty and fragrance. Ranjish means when an awakened one passes through the garden, the flowers get jealous, because in front of the light in front of the fragrance and the beauty of the flowers, in front of the light, the fragrance, the beauty of an awakened one, the flowers become jealous. Because their fragrance and beauty fades away in front of that awakened, the light that manifests through the awakened one. That is why Phoolon ko hai ranjish, flowers are jealous. Phoolon ko hai ranjish, महकाते हैं आशियाने को जब. Ashiana means the congregation of the lovers. Mahkate hai means spread the fragrance. महकाते हैं आशियाने को जब, गुजर रही है जिंदगी उन्हीं लम्हों के सदके. Now my life is continuing to flow in the लम्हों के सदके में. Lamha means moments. That one moment has spread into my life like a vast canopy. Guzar rahi hai zindagi, my life is flowing as the reminiscence of those moments. Those moments are have so deeply ingrained into my being that nothing else is needed. And there is an echo that lingers in my ears like the dissolving notes of an enchanting melody. A sound मेरे कानों में अब सदा फिजाओं से आती है. The sound that comes to my ears, the sound that enchants my ears, that is sound that echoes like the dissolving notes of an enchanted melody. It comes from far away, riding the wings of the wind, wings of the wind. फूलों को है रंजिश, महकाते हैं आशियाने को जब, गुजर रही है जिंदगी उन्हीं लम्हों के सदके में. गुजर रही है जिंदगी उन्हीं लम्हों के सदके में. Time again people inquired from Buddha what is bliss, and he would always say, just be with me, be silent for a few months, for a few years, and whenever you are ripe and mature enough, I'll tell you what is bliss. I'll tell you. Many stayed with him and he would never tell them anything what it was. Many stayed with Buddha and he would never tell them what it was. One day he would ask them, do you want to know what the bliss is? It happened. Sariputta was sitting under the tree. Many other monks were there. Mahakashyap came. He asked a question. Buddha said, you stay with me for some time. Maybe when I see you are ripe, when I see you are ready, when I see you are mature enough, I will respond to that question. Sariputta burst into laughter at this. Mahakashyap inquired, why is he laughing? The Buddha said, you ask Sariputra directly the question. He said, when I had come, he told me the same thing, that you stay here with me, and when you are ripe, You are ready. You are mature enough. I will answer your question. Now the problem is he keeps on asking me, pestering me, Sariputra, what is your question? And the problem is this, all questions have dissolved. I have no more questions. That is the magic. Many stayed with him and he would never tell them what it was. One day he would ask them, now do you want to know what bliss is? Now do you want to know what bliss is? And they would say, it cannot be said. Can you say anything about bliss? But we ourselves know. We are grateful that you have tricked us into bliss. Buddha always tricks into bliss. Indirectly, tricks into bliss. Many stayed with him and he would never tell them what it was. One day he would ask them, do you still want to know what bliss is? And they would simply say, it cannot be said. But we ourselves know. We are grateful that you have tricked us into. You have tricked us into bliss. You never said anything about it, but you helped us to be silent, to be still. And bliss is the fragrance of stillness. Bliss is the fragrance of silence. Bliss is the beauty, the aura that surrounds the silent mind. Bliss is the aura that surrounds a silent mind, a still mind, a calm mind where there is no ripples. Bliss is the aura that surrounds that. When you are silent and still, then something wells up within you, and that wells up within you is bliss. When you are silent and still, then something wells up within you, and that is bliss. It is your innermost nature. But remember, it is an experience, not a theory, not a dialogue. Indeed, it cannot be contained in any scriptures. No words can contain it. Through words, through all that is written, it is lost. Though it is written all over existence, on each leaf of the tree, on each pebble on the seashore, you will only be able to see when you have experienced it in the innermost shrine of your being. Bliss, you will be able to experience, see written on each leaf of the tree, each pebble on the shore, each star that shines in the sky. Only when you have experienced this in the innermost shrine of your being, then you will see it everywhere surrounding in you. In the mountains, in the stars, in the sun, in the leaves, in the chirping of the birds, in the giggle of a child, in the flight of a bird, everywhere you see bliss written. Then the whole existence, you will know, is made out of this stuff that is called bliss. Nothing else. Let bliss be a song that resounds in you. And you are the echo of that bliss, echo of that sound. Let bliss be the song that echoes into your being, like the dissolving notes of an enchanting melody. एक बार जो तूने पुकारा था मुझे, ताजीज़ मेरे मन में बसती रही शहनाई. Once you have called me lovingly. ताजीज़ means ere long. बजती रही शहनाई मेरे मन में. The oboe, the music continues to play in my ears. एक बार जो तूने पुकारा था मुझे, ताजीज़ मेरे मन में बसती रही शहनाई. Ere long, the sound of oboe, Shehnai, echoes into my beings, and I do not hear any other sound. And I do not wish to hear anything else. That sound, एक बार जो तूने पुकारा था मुझे, ताजीज़ मेरे मन में बसती रही शहनाई. ताजीज़ मेरे मन में बसती रही शहनाई. Ere long, ताजीज़ ere long, मेरे मन में बसती रही शहनाई. Shehnai is the one of the most beautiful, the wind instrument, known as oboe in English. During the festive occasions in India, the Shehnai is considered to be an auspicious musical instrument and the favorite of almost all. So be with an awakened one. You need not do anything. The closer you come, the closer a flame comes to a lit flame. The closer, a little more closer, a little more intimate, then suddenly something jumps from the lit one and lights the unlit one. Lo, the light is there. एक लम्हा जो गुजरा है तेरे साथ, छा जाए जिंदगी में मेरी, बन के नूर तेरा, बन के नूर तेरा. जिंदगी हो पैगामे मोहब्बत, दुआ है यही रब से लम्हा लम्हा. फूलों को है रंजिश, महकाते हैं आशियाने को जब. फूलों को है रंजिश, महकाते हैं आशियाने को जब. गुजर रही है जिंदगी, गुजर रही है जिंदगी, उन्हीं लम्हों के सदके. गुजर रही है जिंदगी, उन्हीं लम्हों के सदके. गुजर रही है जिंदगी उन्हीं लम्हों के सदके में. What else to do? Let the life flow as the fragrance of those moments, as the aura of those moments. You will know what bliss is. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant, blissful day.